It's early morning, so there aren't many people about, and I'm going to do a walk I absolutely love. It is up to Carn Ingli, the rocky outcrop on the top of a hill here, which is also an Iron Age fort. I have done it many times, and I find it an absolutely wonderful place for views around the surrounding countryside. Newport is a lovely little town. There are quite a few little shops and a couple of pubs, a few restaurants, and full of higgledy-piggledy little streets and plenty of paths. And there up on the hill is a castle, which is now a private home. It's a holiday town really these days. Many of these old houses are rentals now, which is of course quite controversial these days as they are very expensive. Local people, young people, will find it difficult to buy anything here. And there is the lovely Norman church. I love the name of this little road here, Nant a Blodau Bach. That is the brook or the stream of the little flowers. There's the brook, and sometimes there are little wildflowers here, and these are the ones planted by the owners. Just look at this absolutely beautiful rustic stone wall that someone is having built here. Great workmanship. I think it falls in the category of expensive but worth it. And here's a lime wash building next to it. And here we turn to ascend the hill. And this is the fence, which I've discovered is far easier to climb over than open and close. And that's where I'm going, up to Carn Ingli. Now, the bracken here is flourishing, about 5 or 6 feet high. But the higher I go, and the more exposed the hillside becomes to the wind, the shorter and shorter becomes the bracken, the ferns. I think it's accepted that the name Carn Ingli is derived from Old Welsh, Ingli, Engeli, angels in Welsh. So it's Hill of the Angels. And this being Wales, there's some mythology attached to the place, such as walk up here and you can be turned into a poet. Well, I've been about 100 times and it hasn't happened yet. The attraction for me is that this place is not only a great little climb, good exercise with lovely views, but somehow or other it seems a sort of magical, mystical kind of place. I don't believe in any of that stuff, but I just have this feeling that it's a link with a distant past. It's just something in my head again. I'll try to explain more when I get to the top. place is heaven for wandering cows, horses, sheep. What a lovely day it is. Beautiful. Note the much smaller bracken and the prevalence of very hardy gorse bushes. At this point, I'd like to turn left for my route up to the top. From this point, the path gets a bit more challenging, a bit rougher. It's okay in dry weather, but it can be very slippery after rain. I would never come down this way. It's too steep. And a few weeks ago, I took a tumble and hurt my legs and my hand. So I'm not going to risk that again. I'll come back down a different way. As I mentioned, this was an Iron Age fort, and I read that there are Bronze Age remains here. So this path has probably been walked by people 3,000 or 4,000 years, maybe more. So here we are near the entrance to the Hillfort, top of the hill. And as you can see, it's pretty formidable. Look at all of those rocks. I think it's called scree by geologists, but I'm not sure. Anyway, just imagine had you lived in Iron Age times. You were in a raiding party. Your chief had said to you, take your spear, clamber up those rocks and attack. And you know the defenders would be at the top with a lot of very sharp objects. Now, I think that's the day I would have been unavailable owing to my grandmother's funeral. And about that special feeling I mentioned about being up here, I know that people have stood in this exact same spot for 2, 3, maybe even 4,000 years. Back then they would have been looking out for danger, unfamiliar ships down in the bay, or groups of armed men approaching in the background. Today, it's a fantastic place for good views. So when I say I find it a magical and mystical place, all I mean is that I have a feeling that this is a link with our distant past. Lots of dramatic things probably happened here, none of which we will ever know about. But it is a fascinating place, and we can only imagine what it was like to live here thousands of years ago. There are other remains of dwellings up here, although I read that it isn't certain that people actually lived here full time. It may have been a fort used in a time of trouble for refuge. But if anyone did live up here, imagine what a windswept life that would have been. It's pretty breezy now, and I was up here 2 days ago, and this is July, and the wind was so strong I could not stand in this spot. Because I don't want to go back down that rough, rocky path, I'm going to walk over the hilltop towards that cairn. Mountainsides are dotted with these cairns, piles of stones. What they were for, I don't think anyone really knows. They could have been marker points, which you could see from far away. Maybe they had religious significance, or perhaps someone was buried underneath them. I certainly don't know. From here, there are numerous paths leading back down to the town. I prefer to walk a little bit further. And look at that sea mist rolling in. I'm going to take this path down here. One much used, and by the look of it, 10,000 sheep can't all be wrong. And alongside that rocky outcrop there seem to be the remains of buildings. I'll look at my OS map later to see if I can find out more. I passed this way a few times last few days, and each time I've had no money in my pocket because I wanted to get some fresh eggs. Oh, a disappointment down there. Well, that's it. I'm almost back in the town. I enjoyed that walk immensely. It was good exercise. There are easier ways to the top than I did in this video. You find them on maps, but I just fall into a habit of going that way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and from my point of view, there are definitely worse places to be in the world than on Mynydd Carn Ingli on a lovely Wednesday morning in July.